Hi, my name is Hassan Habib. I'm a student consultant, and today I'd like to share with you how to write more than 350 words for a single question. And I'd like to repeat the same thing. So you need to write down 5 tools. Number 1 is what, then why, then how, then when, then where. So you need to ask these 5 questions to a topic, and you need to use 3 more tools as well. That is, you need to create a story, you need to give evidence, you need to give an example. So once you can do that, you will be able to write more than 350 words. Try to make your own story, try to make some sort of different examples, try to give some sort of evidence, and once you can do that, you are able to write more than 350 words. So the question I'd like to explain to you: what sort of education and experience have you got? The question is, what sort of education and experience have you got? So the way I showed you the previous topic, you can write down 1,000 words for this topic, but as you know that, so our ultimate plan is to write down let's say 8 to 10 words for a sentence, and for 350 words we have to write down 35 to 40 sentences. So the question I'd like to ask you for the education first. So what education do you have? Why did you have that sort of education, and how did you achieve that? When did you achieve that? Where did you achieve that? Right. So now you might have some sort of question that, well, Habib, I don't have any previous education. What should I say? And still I would like to say, don't show your blank face. Don't show the blank paper. Still you have got a lot of things to write. Of course you have been to a school in your childhood. Then, for example, if I didn't have some sort of education, I would start like this. That's a great question to answer, and if I go back to my childhood, I can still remember I have been to school, and the name of the school is XYZ school, and that was pretty fun. And at that time, a bunch of friends used to go to the school together, and we used to leave the school together, and during the leisure time we used to play a lot of games, and sometimes when we didn't prepare our lesson, we were beaten by teachers. That was the shocking experience as well. However, I didn't continue my study longer period of time. At the class at class 8 I dropped out, and for these reasons. Give a reason. For example, it might be financial crisis, it might be you didn't love that sort of education, or something happened to you, you became sick and you gave up the school and you didn't continue. So next question is, why did you join the school? And you can say joining the school was mandatory at that time, because if you don't go to the school, you cannot speak, you cannot write, you cannot do the calculation. That's why it was mandatory by law to go to this school, and that's the first reason. And second reason is, I loved going to the school a lot. Especially we became a lot of friends, we used to do some sort of sports. I liked that time. That's the reason I have been to school. And now you need to give them some sort of scenario that how far was the school. The school was not nearby, it was 1 mile away, and that time the transportation was not good. I used to walk, and say whatever you can say, and try to make a picture of your school and make a story. That still I can remember one day it was so rainy, and I slipped up, and that time I was so nearby school, and I know if I didn't attend the school, I had to have some sort of punishment. And that's why I went to the library, and teacher couldn't recognize me because there was muddy on my face. And teacher told me, okay, you can go home and come tomorrow, but make sure you didn't do it again. And that's the funniest story you can create. And when have you gone to school? You can say in 2020 I have been to school, and I studied this, and I study English, maths, geography, And try to make another story. In my school, in English class, I was sitting in the back bench, and I couldn't concentrate on the lesson because that was so difficult for me. And one day, my teacher, he just threw a marker to me, but fortunately, I noticed that, and I escaped that. And after that, I was so attentive to my class, and that helped me to get a good grades in English. Just make a story. And after that, you can say where was the school. You can give the location, and you can say a lot of things that in that time the school was so popular. Every year a lot of talented students left the school. They attended a lot of very good colleges or universities. So try to make a lot of stories. And if you have got some sort of education, you need to tell that truth, that this is the education, after that I finished this, after that I finished this. But always try to make some sort of stories. And now you need to do the transition. So you have finished your school, or you dropped up from the school. Now you need to start working. So you can say, as I left school early, then I started working for this organization, and you need to tell a lot of things about the organization, where it is located and all that stuff. And you can say, I have started working in a restaurant as a waiter, and I didn't have that many options because I didn't have proper education. That's why I started working in a restaurant, and I enjoyed a lot because my responsibility was to wait for the customers. When they come, I welcome them, I delegated them seat, and when they sit, I take them their orders and all that stuff, and I serve them food, and at the end they leave a lot of tips on the table. And it's not about the money, it's about the happiness. The way I served, and they became happy, they became satisfied, and that's why. And the reason I would like to tell you that why I have joined that restaurant is I love food, and especially if you are passionate about something, you don't feel that much difficult to learn that stuff. So I love a lot of foods, and as a staff of that restaurant, I used to have free food on the house, and that was another reason to join that. And the third reason is one of my friends, he said whatever he's earning per week, but on the top of that he has got some sort of tips as well. So this is how you can earn extra money, and that's gonna give you some sort of satisfaction as well. And that's why I have joined there as a waiter. And the funny story I'd like to say you how I found that job is, one day I was looking for the job, and during the last time I saw there are a lot of people out there, and I couldn't go through it. And anyway, I was really looking for the job, and I saw the manager and asking him if they have got any job, and he said, we are so busy, I can't talk to you, but we need people. Come in the evening or tomorrow in the morning at 10 o'clock. I'll talk with you. And that's it. And next day when I came, he appreciated a lot on time as I was there. And he asked me a few questions, and I told him the truth that I didn't have any sort of experience, and why I'd like to join the restaurant. I love the food. I'm passionate about the food, and I love talk to the people. And once I said a lot of things, what I like, what I don't like, and he gave me the opportunity to work for that restaurant, and this is how I found the job. And I worked for them 5 years, and that was so I would like to say that I was so pleased to work for the restaurant. And one day I became the supervisor as my performance was great. And finally, you can give a lot of examples about the bad customer experience, about the great customer's experience. You can say, one day I was waiting for the customer, and they come to the restaurant, and I offered them the seats for two, and then I asked for the orders, and they asked me to recommend a lot of foods, and I tried different types of food, and I was asking them would they love spice or mild, and I asked a lot of questions, and I have taken the order, and once I served the food, and they said that was the best food in their life, and they gave me $10 tips, and that was the first tip. A lot of money in my life. And what I can tell you, that if you love your job, is gonna help a lot to go further. And you can also give a worst customer service experience as well, that I was serving a lot of food and probably an accident that I dropped the wine on their body or shirts, and that impressed me a lot, and that's why my manager, he started shouting at me, and customer said this is not his fault, his accident. And however, I managed to became normal, and this is how. So you can create a lot of stories and all that stuff. And finally, I'd like to say that as I mentioned, a lot of experience and as my education, I'd like to say whatever I have achieved, that's not good enough to achieve my goal. And if it is possible, it takes me a lot of time to go there, but I believe that this education will help me to reach there within short period of time. That's why I'd like to do this course. That's it. So keep in mind that your target is to write down 350 words. So what are you gonna do? You need to calculate that each and every sentence I'm gonna write down on an average 8 to 10 words, and I have to write down 35 to 40 sentences. Once I finish that, my job is done. I'm ready to go to the university, right? So still, if you have got some sort of questions, you can give us a call, 0743208954. And if you get really value, then please give us a review on Hassle-Free Education. And if your friends or family members would like to study as well, please recommend us, and you have got some sort of referral fee as well. Don't miss that. And finally, I'd like to say thanks for watching this video, and talk to the next one.